Once again, Reno Omokri has tackled Peter Obi for urging the federal government to be transparent about the use of funds from the fuel subsidy removal. Well, it's always Peter Obi versus Reno Omokri. In a recent development, Reno tackled Peter Obi for asking the federal government to explain to Nigerians how money being saved from fuel subsidy removal are utilized. It was reported that Obi had asked for transparency in government figures, where he argued that if subsidy has been removed, the government should clearly outline the project where the savings are being redirected, allowing for accountability and tackling. Now, Obi also pointed out that while subsidy has been lifted, the country's debt continues to rise, alongside the cost of living, raising concerns about the overall impact on citizens, where he called for the need for more transparency in terms of this subsidy removal and the proceeds from the subsidy removal, where these proceeds are being channeled into, how we can track these funds, how can we manage these debts that Nigeria is being plunged into. If we say subsidy removal, is no longer, if we say there's no fuel subsidy, then how come our debt is increasing and we are not seeing anything tangible on the effect of the subsidy removal? So Reno Omokri felt that Peter Obi is not morally upright to demand for transparency from the federal government. That Peter Obi is not morally upright because this is coming from, according to Reno Omokri, is coming from a man who cannot track his own campaign spending from the donations made by Nigerians in diaspora. According to the embattled chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, when he was, shouting on how Peter Obi and his cronies seized control of the campaign funds, that up till date nobody can ascertain, nobody can, pinpoint where that money, that campaign funds was channeled into. So this is a man who hid suspicious funds away in offshore accounts. This is a man whom his behavior is not, is not credible. So Obi cannot be accountable for his own party funds and cannot talk about the funds donated for his campaign. So how can he point fingers to others for someone that cannot account for his campaign funds, those money that were donated? How can he now point to the federal government for the proceeds made from subsidy removal? This is Reno versus Peter Obi. And we need to know that Reno is Obi's biggest rival. Reno Omokri is Peter Obi's biggest rival in this country. There is nothing Reno has not said concerning Peter Obi. But one thing we know for sure is Obi will never respond to Reno Omokri. So that is just it. But then let's start from Reno Omokri's double standard, acting. The way he's trying to pose himself like a spokesperson to this Tinubu's administration. Now, he characterized Peter Obi to be a man that is pointing fingers at others while his house is not in order, meaning he's tagging Obi to be a kettle, calling a pot black, saying Obi is not in a position to demand such clarifications, especially considering questions surrounding his management of campaign funds and the handling of state finances for personal gain during his tenure as governor of Anambra State. That Peter Obi also has skeletons in his cupboard and shouldn't be one that should point fingers at others, especially this Tinubu's administration. So we know Reno Omokri is actively seeking to join Tinubu's government. He's actively there looking for attention. He is there trying to get attention from Anybody that will give him that attention. That is one thing we know about Reno Omokri, using Obi to gain popularity, attacking Obi as a golden opportunity to gain popularity, maybe, to just for people to recognize him. Reno is seen as an instrument of APC government used to tackle Obi, more like an attention seeker. Obi made a point that this is what he feels should be done in the appropriate way. And Reno, from nowhere, all of a sudden attacking Obi for questioning the federal government. So is it that somebody cannot question the federal government spending, the federal government's expenditure from the savings of the fuel subsidy removal? Yes, even though the federal government is yet to come clean on this subsidy removal, because according to many, subsidy is back. The federal government is secretly paying for subsidy. But for the benefit of doubt, at least if the government are insisting that they are not paying subsidy, okay, where is the proceeds from the subsidy from the money saved from the subsidy payment? You are not paying subsidy anymore. All right, the money being saved, where is it? That is accountability, and Obi is calling for that accountability. If we don't have people like Obi and other persons that ask the federal government for transparency, then how do we move forward in this country? If we as citizens cannot demand for transparency from our own government, how can we move forward? So everybody should keep mute, because we feel the federal government can do as they please and nobody can question their every move. No. Obi is doing his job as a citizen. Any ordinary Nigerian can walk up to the federal government and demand that we ought to know the proceeds being made from this subsidy removal and how it is spent. But as it comes to Obi's case, Reno is always there to attack and fire Obi at any given point in time. So my country people, make una come chook mouth for this matter. What are your thoughts on Reno Omokri's knocks on Obi, asking for the federal government to show Nigerians how much money has been saved from the subsidy removal and how it's been spent? I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comment section.